Hello, everybody. This is Chris. Let's see what's what. First of all, let's do a video capture, okay, and then share screen. Is this actually gonna work? Will we be able to do both? That would be fantastic. I'm not sure if that's actually gonna work though. Let me know if you see both myself and my screen. Let me know in the general chat. Hopefully you can see both. Again, this is Chris Barron with your weekly designer chat podcast, voice chat thingy stuff thing. And we're gonna do a 30-minute chat. It's July 1st, 2020. So let's make it happen. I hope you can see my ugly mug. I hope you can see my face. And today we're gonna talk about some designs. We're mainly gonna talk about this design in particular. We're gonna do a review and we're gonna break it down, and hopefully some good may come out of this. From what I understand, this design is for some high-end fashion website thingy, and basically one of my students, Manisha, a person who is a premium member, basically asked me for some feedback, and I gladly provided that feedback. And I thought, okay, let me do a video review as well. A video review. So let's see what's what. Let's see the good, the bad, and the ugly. So this design, before you do anything regarding high-end fashion websites, you should do your research. So that's the first thing you have to do when you have such a task. You have to do your research. So when you're talking about high-end fashion, when you're talking about a certain niche in general, you have to have a few go-to websites. So if I'm gonna say, okay, the best shop online, you're probably gonna think about Amazon, right? Because that immediately pops. If I'm gonna ask you for the best place for the fonts, you're gonna tell me Google Fonts or Adobe Fonts, right? So you immediately have that connection. You immediately know where you should go. It's the same thing regarding, various websites. I think I already gave this example in a previous chat. If you think about tech websites, you probably know about Stripe, right? So you immediately check that out. So this is the type of thing you have to do first and foremost. You have to make sure that you have these go-to websites. Well, when it comes to fashion, what you have to do is visit this website, which I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Net-a-Porter. It's French, I think. Whatever, doesn't matter. This is the go-to website in terms of high-end fashion. Not just because it looks beautiful, which you'll see it doesn't look all that fantastic, but because it's the most well-known one. It's the Amazon of high-end luxury shopping. So again, if you have a task to create something regarding clothing, high-end brands and whatnot, this is the type of thing you have to check out, right? And the very first thing, you obviously have to browse around. You have to see what's what. Just to check out various pages. Come on, it seems like my internet is a bit slow. You have to see how they handle things, their navigation, their fonts, their filters and whatnot. So I really feel like this is the place to start. Okay, now here's the initial design. Now, immediately you should have a few things that jump up. Let's bring it into Photoshop so we can actually underline some things. Okay, so let's actually start with the least important bit. Let me actually just shrink my workspace. Obviously, there's a ton of black. Now, you might have seen that even on this website, there is some black. This is actually pure black in the logo as well as in the main navigation. But this right here, this is overwhelming. This is way, way too much. So it's something that you really should avoid. It's an overkill as far as I'm concerned, and it's not really something that should have its place here. Now, the next big mistake is the products themselves. When you want to spend whatever $500 on one particular bag or whatever, high-end stuff, you want big, large photos. So this is the second mistake. The next one, this gray right here, it's far too dark. So because of that, it doesn't look good. The contrast here is far too great. But here, you don't really need a lot of contrast because all the photos are pretty much colored. They don't really need all that much. And finally, right here, I'm not sure if you can see it, there's a texture applied. Now, again, this is the initial design, right? If you compare it, point by point, you'll see that nothing basically makes sense, right? In all these high-end fashion websites, again, we're gonna use this one, but basically almost all of them look about the same. Almost all of them follow the same template because this particular template is what works, right? First of all, we have loads of white, just no decoration whatsoever, right? And that's because, let's just have a quick look here. Let's Google luxury, for example. Look at this bathtub, look at this bath. It's empty, right? And it's white. So that's the first thing. We should have something like luxury apartment. A luxury interior. Let's have a look. Again, loads of white. Loads of white, yet again, minimalist, clean, extremely clean. Yet again, very clean, not cluttered at all. Not a lot of decorations, maybe just something here and there. Again, look at how empty this is. Now, it really doesn't matter if this is to your taste or not, if you appreciate this style or not, but this is what luxury means to most people, right? This is what most people consider luxury. Very clean, very open, not a lot of decorations. Now, in all this, there's no place for loads of dark elements or any patterns. So this is the first thing you have to make sure that you're not breaking away from what you're seeing here. Basically, you can consider all these photos as a mood board. They give off a certain vibe, right? And there's certain things that every one of these photos has. And again, that's empty space, that's a little to no decoration, loads of light, lots of white spaces and whatnot. So again, all those qualities, all those traits should be seen here. And this is not the case. This part right here is indeed white, but that's about it. And unfortunately, it's drowned in this gray and this black and this black here. So that's the biggest mistake. It's a mismatch between atmospheres, right? When you want to go high-end luxury, you can't put, all these dark places because it makes the design feel cramped. It makes the design feel busy. So that's one thing that has to be corrected. Next, just about every single one of these websites has very large photos and photos taken in the exact same fashion. I mean, look at these. These are several brands, by the way. So this particular website doesn't sell its own brand. It's actually a marketplace. And all these luxury brands, all these names right here, these are different brands, right? So again, this is a marketplace. And because of that, you might assume that it's a bit tricky to actually create photos in the same style. But they do it because they realize it's important. This style, this very clean style where every single photo is taken in the same way and it's the same size, it's extremely important. Well, here, just have a look. We're at 100% zoom level, right? Just compare this to this, right? So this is another mismatch because again, the more expensive the product, the more you have to feature it, the more you have to showcase it and show it in all sorts of angles and whatnot. People are not gonna spend, again, whatever, ridiculous amounts of money when you have these tiny photos because again, the vibe just feels off. It feels cheap. Now, continuing along, we have. Let me pause a little bit because I really want to talk about some execution mistakes. So this right here, you can clearly see this is not vertically aligned. So that's not cool. The other thing right here, the space is far too large. It's what, 67 pixels or whatever. But that's not correct because it feels like these two are disconnected, like they're two different items, two different elements. So you have to make sure that these are right next to each other. No more than 30 pixels tops. I usually go with 20 pixels. The other thing, I just noticed this pattern right here. I think this is another execution mistake, because how many of you guys, show of hands, how many of you guys have actually seen that was a pattern applied here? I mean, out of 100 people, probably 95 will not recognize there's a pattern here. Not to mention that developers will hate you for applying a pattern here, because it's not that tricky, but it's not good use of design skills, right? So yeah, it seems like Elena, Radical 18 did not see it. Now let's see what else. Yeah, basically all sorts of issues, all sorts of problems. I'm guessing another execution mistake right here. This is probably a clipping mask, right? Lena. Okay. Lena. Okay, thank you. We can see some pixels here, 2 pixels here, 1 pixel here, and the gap here that doesn't seem intentional because we can't find it. Well, yeah, this is quite a mismatch here. So this area right here, it's a total mess. I'm not really sure what was the point and how the designer missed all these black lines, especially since they're pure black. So again, pretty basic mistakes again right here, not vertically centered. Right here, do we have them centered? Yeah. Oh, look at this case. This is actually quite interesting. So this should not be here. I understand that this title, it's for this particular region, but you can't extend it like this because it just feels like everything right here should have been moved up, right? So if you plan on creating your menus in the photo like so, just remove one of them. It doesn't really make any sense. And yeah, someone else just pointed out that they don't like the fonts. That's very true. Again, the fonts have to be silky smooth, they have to be upscale, they have to be luxurious. You can't use Arial for obvious reasons, right? What you see here, this is a combination of a serif font and sans serif fonts. They're perfectly sized. The color variation between categories and shoes, for example, it's top notch. The results, again, different color. Right here, again, a 2-punch combination. So this is what you need. Right here, what we have here, this is basically Arial or whatever, Times New Roman or whatever, any default font, right? So it doesn't seem like the designer took any interest in typography. This is pretty good. Shop Now, it's not good, not great, in case you've seen Chernobyl. But right here, yeah, this is a clear mismatch. This is a very clear mismatch because this doesn't feel luxurious, doesn't feel high-end. It's not really the font per se, it's the entire thing, how you package it. Because if the green wasn't used, if the background wasn't all that black, if there wasn't so much empty space, all sorts of ifs, this could have probably worked. But as it stands, it doesn't. So I spent about 20 minutes giving my student some feedback, and luckily she came with this, right? So after taking in all my feedback, this is what we came up with. Well, she came up with the following design. I actually just threw some pointers, gave her that link and whatnot, and I feel like this is much better, right? We still have some issues here and there. This is the entire design. But overall, this is much more acceptable. And I'd say, if this is probably a 1 star out of 5, or maybe even eliminated, this can get at least 3 stars, I think, because the hero area is so impactful. I really feel like, loads of clients, they get so enamored. They love the top part, and it really doesn't matter what happens next, right? So I think this is one of those cases. The photos, they're beautiful. The font is top notch. The call to action button, this is exactly what you need when it comes to luxury brands, when it comes to upscale websites, this is exactly what you need. Square corners, all caps font, pure black. This is exactly what you need. And it's interesting. Most of you might say a color overlay on these photos may work well. That's debatable. That's debatable. Most luxury brands don't apply a color overlay on the homepage. This only happens in certain cases, I would say maybe 20% of the time in the product details page. But in the hero area, they tend to choose photos that have enough contrast for pure white text. Another thing they do, they never actually include any drop shadows from what I've seen from my past experience. Drop shadows are a mortal enemy in these luxury websites. There's no elevation whatsoever, so the buttons don't really float. And again, the photos have to be saturated enough and they have to be colorful enough so pure white text goes well on top of them. And this is probably why they use these all caps fonts that are, again, they give off a certain vibe. So overall, what I'm seeing here, it's completely top notch. The menu itself, I love it. You know, it's exactly how it should be. The icons, again, this is a 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. The icons are exactly what a luxury brand needs to use. Again, you know, they're professional, they're elegant, they're well sized, they're well spaced out. This is exactly what you need in terms of menus, in terms of social media icons. I would probably do something different though for the cart. Hard to say. Let's see. Yeah, the designer did add a dash of color here, but it's, you know, it's what, 1% out of the entire design. So I would probably introduce some type of red throughout the design here and there. But yeah, that's the good news, right? The menu is okay. The full width design is actually okay. When it comes to luxury brands, you can go full width, 1920, I think. Yeah, 1920. You should probably not go anything under 1400. And that's just because, you know, the more open it is, the more wide it is, the more upscale it feels, right? Now, a few things here and there. I'm not sure I would leave this space right here. I don't think I would leave it. It's debatable, and I would probably not include this drop shadow. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is a drop shadow here. So yeah, I would probably not do that. And another thing that actually VSM pointed out in the chat, it's a bit too condensed. I think you could have gone for a bit taller header. This is what, 155, let's call it. I think 170, that would have been perfect. You know, just a bit more breathing room. In general, it's true that, you know, these headers are fairly short. As you can see, this one is fairly short. But for whatever reason, this one it breathes easily, right? It doesn't feel cluttered or crowded. Obviously, this at the top helps as well, this light gray at the top. But overall, you know, even if we hide it, let's try and hide it. Let's see if I can quickly manage. Opacity, 0. Not that one. That's just a message. Display none. Nope. The entire thing, not the container. Cookie policy. This one. Let's see. Display none. Nope. Okay, that's it. I tried. That's it. It doesn't work. But again, you know, even if we cut it off and we just focus on this area right here, it is fairly short. But here it feels a bit crowded, probably because the logo right here, it has a black rectangle underneath it. Yeah, if you would probably remove that one, it would have been a bit better. I have to say I'm a bit unsure regarding what's going on here. I'm not sure what's up. Are these 3 different websites? I'm not sure. What do you guys think? What's going on here? I'm thinking this is the main logo, and I think these are probably sister websites. Similar to this one right here, where you click on this one and this is Mr. Porter. It's again basically the same website, but only for men, right? So I'm guessing this is the case here, but I don't think this is well executed. I don't have any suggestions whatsoever though, because I'm not really sure. This is something that has to be researched. Now, let's see what else. Yeah, this part right here, I'm not sure if she did this, if she created this from scratch, but this is beautiful. No end of sale, 50% off. This is top notch. This is exactly how you should create an element for the luxury brand. Now the problem is there's too much empty space, right? And I realize that this may sound contradictory, because on one end, I'm telling you that you need loads of white space, that it needs to feel airy and whatnot. But on the second, on the flip of the coin, I'm complaining here that there's too much empty space, and that's correct. They can coexist, because in this particular case, in this particular area, this is not an area that's well used. This is space that's not well used. If this were to the side, something like this, and then we would have some extra content here, then that would have worked pretty well, something like this, whatever, right? Or maybe whatever, some other type of banners here, maybe 2 banners or whatever, But something like this would have occupied the space much, much better. Maybe some other discounts, some whatever, right? So again, this is a shame that the designer didn't use the space effectively. And any client whatsoever, no matter his or her experience, is gonna tax you on that, right? Any one of them, they're gonna say, okay, this area right here doesn't click with me. Now, another thing, the buttons, obviously you should stay consistent. You should stay consistent in your designs, but this right here, it doesn't have enough contrast. You could risk it and try and make it inverted, pure black and the white text. You could go for that, but I would probably just go for the different background, for the different area altogether, and basically that would be the end of your problems. Now, going down a bit more, again, this is basically a mess, right? Let me know. I mean, I think most of you are guys, but I think we have a couple of girls here. Would you buy these purses or whatever they are? No, you wouldn't, because you can't. That's the first thing, because you don't know the price, you don't know the brand, you don't know anything, you don't know any reviews, you don't know absolutely anything. So again, this is a fairly big understanding problem. You basically don't understand the client and what the client wants to do, right? This is just decorative. This is just, designing things just so they look good. The designer thought, okay, let me get some nice photos, so some big bright photos, some colored photos. Let me make sure, the contrast is okay. And then, that's going to be it. But that's not the point. You can't expect people to actually make any purchases or any decisions if they don't have the absolute fundamentals, the absolute basic necessities. Again, like brand, like price, those, and obviously a see more button or add to cart or whatever. I really feel like that's needed. Again, just look here. So we have the brand name, we have a very short description. We have a price and whatever, new to sale, further reduced. So we have some information, right? Now, obviously, you could potentially use the shop now button, but that's not enough. I don't think that's enough. It's true that you don't have to create buttons. Let me show you a classic e-commerce website, and this is a huge one here in Romania. Now, this is the classic one, but this is not for upscale things. This is not for for those people that are making whatever hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you can see we have again the star rating, the number of reviews, the title, various things regarding the color, if it's in stock, if it's Amazon Prime, the old price, the new price, the discount, the add to cart. So again, on a classic e-commerce store, these are very much expected. Same thing here with all these filters on the left side. These are to be expected. When we're talking about a luxury brand, you won't actually get an add to cart button for each one. Because again, it's not like people are, purchasing 10, $1,000 bags or whatever, that's not the case. So this is how you explain the lack of an add to cart button, right? But even so, this right here does not work as far as I'm concerned. And again, we have some major execution mistakes because again, let's have a quick look. We have 13 here and 7 here. That's not cool. Obviously, these should have been centered. And again, you should probably not use a drop shadow or a stroke when it comes to these types of websites. You should create a decent enough contrast just through the background. Now, another thing that's a serious mismatch is, what Karma said. Color pop should not be there. Color pop should not be shown in this whimsical, playful, very friendly, childish, whatever you want to call it, style. It's a complete mismatch, It's like when you think about luxury, you don't really think about these types of things, watercolors and, multiple colors and whatnot. Because again, you don't have to take my word for it, right? You don't have to use your personal experience for it. You just look at something like this, right? You just write luxury and see what comes up. Do you see, tons of colors? Not really, right? You might see a bit of gold, a bit of beige, Again, look, a luxury car, a bit of brown here and there. But that's it. You don't really see watercolors. You don't really see, pinks and reds and blues and whatnot. So again, this is a serious mismatch. This is tone death, as they say in the US of A. It's not aligned with the customer. Now, finally, the footer is an absolute mess just because this right here has no place. In general, luxury brands, what they do is, let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look at clothing. You won't see absolutely huge signs, Versace or whatever. That's not the case. Let's look at something really expensive. Let's look at Balmain, for example. Where does it say Balmain on it? Nowhere. Actually, this is a style. I recognize this even without reading the name because of how they use all these buttons, gold buttons and whatnot. It's a specific style. Kanye West used Balmain in one of his video clips, and I actually remembered that. Just right here, Balmain. So luxury brands don't really stand out. They don't really shout out, right? I think the Polo logo meme, which is again not exactly luxury, and this is exactly why it's not luxury. This is the initial one. The logo was fairly small, then bigger, then what? It doesn't make any sense, right? Let's see it right here. Let's see it. Yeah. So it's very small. It's tasteful. That's the word. It's tasteful. Then it became bigger. Then what? Even bigger. It doesn't make that much sense, right? So again, you don't really have to shout it out, luxury. Nobody, that has Ferrari actually wears Ferrari hats and Ferrari shirts and whatnot, because it's just not cool. But let's say it is cool. Let's say the logo should be there. Developers will hate you. Because what's this? Is this a PNG? Is this an SVG? It doesn't really make that much sense coding wise. So developers are surely going to hate you because it makes no sense. This could be, just a simple footer made with a few lines of CSS. But because of this logo, everything gets more complicated. And obviously, when you resize it, the logo has to be resized as well. It's a pain, basically. It's a pain for no purpose, that serves no purpose. And another thing, you shouldn't really have this bottom bar right here. When you have so much dark, so much black and gray and whatnot, this bottom part really, it doesn't stand out. It's not cool. The social media icons, again, I did not show them at all, or position them in such a way where it makes sense. Nobody's actually using Pinterest again when you're shopping for $1,000 clothes, or Google Plus. Google Plus or Twitter. I need some water. Yeah, so overall, again, this is a bit of a mess, but I think, let me see if I can actually find the latest design. The latest one is actually better. No, I don't have the latest one available to me. But yeah, overall, this was a big improvement, from this design that made absolutely no sense to this one. This should be, this should be commendable, Oh, actually, this is a small variation where the sale is again a total mismatch. You're not supposed to insert any cartoonish elements, anything that's, that basically breaks character. Because again, you can easily, if you throw here some Legos on the floor and whatever, some bean bags and whatever, you can easily ruin a mood. You can easily ruin an atmosphere, right? Because again, luxury, it's all about that vibe. It's all about that feeling that you get when you have a quick look, But you can easily throw that with just a few elements, right? Just throw a few things out. Again, a beanbag chair, whatever, some random stuff, and then that's it. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions regarding this design. I think it's fairly clear cut. I would like to say a few more things just in case you want to ask some questions. I really feel like there should be more content, right? Because this is a hero area, which is again fantastic. We have one banner, which again, end of a sale, okay? And then 3 photos of a product. This is the entire design. This is the entire website, the homepage. And the question is simple. Would you shop at this store assuming it has fantastic products? Assuming it has fantastic deals? Would you shop here? No, not really, right? Not really. So if we have a quick look here at this one, or maybe this one here, whatever, we can see we have a lot of content. We have the sale banner here. We have the magazine or whatever. Another one here, another one here, another section here and here. 2 more sections, 2 more here. And, it just goes on and on, right? We have let's say 14 sections, 14 different sections. So this is actually much, much, much more like it. And here we have fewer sections, I believe. No, actually, yeah, about the same. But again, this makes sense. There's something here for the various people, right? You have discounts, you have various things regarding unique selling points. You have various things that just came in, what's new today. You have some articles, some blogs, you have various things, that entice you to shop. And again, the whole thing here, it's something actually quite, something very interesting here. Because again, you can see there are no prices here. The homepage is not actually inclined to it doesn't push you to make a purchase right away, right? Where in most cases, I would say this is a mistake. Here, it makes sense, right? Here, they have to create this vibe, this upscale feeling. So all these models, all these expensive clothes, and you can tell they're expensive, right? I'm pretty sure 99% of you guys know that these are expensive clothes, even without actually seeing any prices. Would you assume these are $20 jackets or whatever? Of course not. How do you know that? How do you know that these things are expensive? It's this vibe. It's this approach where, again, it's not a lot. It's not pushing you towards making a sale, right? It's giving you enough time to actually check out some things, some articles. You browse around, you see what's what, you see what's new. So it's a different mindset. Again, this is completely different than this one, right? Which is a mass consumer, mass market, products, for whatever, where people can buy 5, 10, 15 things in one shopping spree, right? This is completely different. This doesn't push you because they don't feel the need to go towards that, to push you so early towards that point. You are gonna make a sale, but before you make a sale, you have to feel the luxuriousness. You have to feel that vibe. You have to feel that these guys are serious, that they're upscale, that they're trustworthy, and that you're basically buying into a lifestyle. So this is why the homepage doesn't have any, big things that are whatever. And by the way, this sale thing right here up to 60% off, this actually, as far as I know, this actually only shows up for certain countries and for certain users, basically new users. So that's something, that has to be mentioned as well. So yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions before I go. I hope you're doing great in these blazing summer heats. This heat wave here in Romania is crazy. It's 33 degrees here and it's dry as hell, so I'm basically melting away. So that's quite. Oh, it's winter here. I would love some winter time. I would love it, but yeah, no, it's crazy as hell. Okay, so it seems that we have a very diverse group of people. Argentina, monsoon for Trabi. Interesting, cool stuff. So anything else regarding the design? I think it's pretty clear. I think, it's, clear cut. It's very obvious, all the mistakes and whatnot, and why this particular brand is at the top of their game. Because again, it's all about the mood. It's all about the vibe. And, I think it's one of the most difficult things to actually design because, as you can see, you don't have crazy graphics, you don't have a lot of illustrations, you don't really have, places where you can shine, because obviously typography is a big part of it, but that's about it. The rest, the product photos, the empty space, the white space and whatnot, these are the things that actually make sense. So if you plan on doing, design contest on 99 designs for luxury brands, I would think twice, because it's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to stand out from the crowd. It's not something you can easily do. So let me stop my screen sharing so you can see my... Oh, we actually had... Did we have 1080p? Wow. Yeah, that was a shame. Sorry, next time I'm gonna do 1080p. Sorry about that. If I knew we had 1080p, I would have done it. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions. If not, the plans are as follows. I'm gonna start working on Adobe XD more and more. I'm in the pre-release thingy group thingy where I get to see all the newest releases. Well, the upcoming releases, basically a few months in advance. Well, I think only 2 months in advance or something like that. So I'm planning on creating an Adobe course. I've already started writing a few pages, but the tricky bit is the fact that every single month, there's a new edition. Something completely different comes into play. So that's the only thing that's actually stopping me from going full force on it, because I'm not really sure, what's gonna happen. They're constantly changing things in a massive way. So, the course is basically gonna get outdated the second it comes out. So that's a bit difficult. Yeah, drink water and stay hydrated. That's totally true. Obviously I know about Dreamweaver, but I don't know absolutely anyone that's actually used it in a serious environment. Nobody uses Dreamweaver. It's, something that's just there, but it's, again, nobody actually uses it. Let me know if there's anything else with a bit. 39 minutes. Wow, that's a lot. Staying hydrated. Why that TV? Because I watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of shows when I'm eating. That's the only time when I get a break, and half an hour before I sleep. So I love watching movies and various shows, as well as tutorials and whatnot. So that's why I bought that TV. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Chris Barron for the 1st of July 2020. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Let me know in the comments, in the general chat, if you prefer the Discord or YouTube. Obviously, with YouTube, you get to see my face, but that's about it. No screen sharing whatsoever. Here, obviously, you get to see my screen, but as far as I know, the voice, the quality isn't all that great. So let me know what's what. Yep. Thank you. Bye for now.